That little twink Trevor doesn't know shit. He just enjoys being a hipster contrarian for the sake of it.
Parts of that are true.
Hello everybody. Welcome back to the basement. It's been a couple of weeks. We did not die again. It was
The
just
Oscars happened.
the Oscars
International
happened.
travel happened.
Lots of things. Mara's returned back to the homeland.
The anniversary of Clara being born happened.
Yes, Clara, my sister, for the uninitiated, is now 16 years old, which is very weird for me because she's my little sister, and now she can drive, which is strange. So
She can drive unsupervised.
yeah, she could drive me. Well, no, I'm not. I think you have to be 20. No, family member. I think she could legally drive me. Yeah,
Well, I mean, she can get her license at 16.
right.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just mean, like, she could learner's permit with an adult at
She could
15. But, like,
drive
now
on
she
her
can
own.
technically, like, get a
Go.
license and just go, like, in a
Yeah.
car by herself. She could run away from home.
Mm-hmm. I did that.
What?
Not the running away from home, but the drive. But I remember I was very specific about like what song I wanted to play during the first time I drive, and then now I just can't remember. But I remember making like very intentional choices and like going to Spotify and choosing the first time I was going to listen to while driving by myself for the first time, and I just have no clue what it was. Like it was probably something Phoebe Bridgers, if we're taking an educated guess.
Probably.
But yeah. But you didn't drive; you flew across the ocean back to.
It was ill-advised for me to drive across the ocean
Yeah. Eventually, we'll figure it out. It's not
someday.
true. No, we'll just abandon cars.
We
But
probably should.
yeah, probably be better. I mean, not that plane carbon emissions are much better or anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just go back to the steamboat. Why not? How bad could that be?
Yep.
I'm
You know,
joking.
we'd have more willies. We can move on
Public
from that
domain
one.
now, right?
Yeah, that is public domain now. And did you see? Okay, sorry. Did you see the whole Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey cinematic universe plan?
Yes.
It's like a 4-year plan. I respect the bit. I respect the commitment to the bit. I think at first was not funny. I think the fact that they are still going now, it went from unfunny to now it is funny again.
I mean, I saw that movie in the theater, and I gotta say, I was so disappointed. I expected
Okay,
so much.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, to be fair.
I had such high hopes. Like, they really could have done something with it. They really could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Sad. Disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not like I'm gonna ever watch it, so I guess.
I don't know. Maybe you will.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
No,
Oh my
no,
God.
no.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Yes.
No.
Yes. 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 This is what happened with G-Force. This is it. Yep. Yep.
Fun.
Oh, this is fun too. Yeah. Yes. I've changed my mind.
Then you were excited about the other one. You texted me like, "Oh, look."
Yeah, but I think I forgot what it was.
Oh, this is why I write them down in a Google Doc.
I know. I legitimately have had. I've had, as you can tell, since I'm filling up my pill
You know,
box
you're still
now.
you've been taking pills for like 5 minutes now.
Well, I'm filling up for the week. So
Okay.
yeah,
But
I've been going through a time.
that's fair.
By the way, anybody that feels like they don't need both their kidneys, because you technically don't, and you've got, these are just 1-a-day vitamins, you know, because you gotta make sure you get all those vitamins. Anybody that doesn't feel like they would be unhappy parting with one of their kidneys, and they've got a blood type compatible with O positive, and you want to consider being a directed donor, just give me a ring a ding. So we might need to be in touch at some point in a future.
Usually
Labs
about
haven't come
getting
back yet
people's
or anything,
kidneys.
but
It's
my
interesting.
kidneys are sore all the freaking time now.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
No.
Anyways,
I'll get to the point where I'll need
we'll talk
things.
about the actual things about the show at some point. We will.
I have plenty more things to say. But yeah. I haven't been sleeping.
You know what's so weird? I actually haven't been sleeping very well or much either. I plan on attempting sleep after this.
Attempting. Yeah, I feel like time moves faster at night because I will be like sitting down to work on something and then I feel like it's been like 30 minutes and then all of a sudden it's just 5 a.m.
Yes.
and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Because then it reaches the point where it's like, do you try to go to sleep and risk like, not waking up for things the next day? Or do you just like try to stay up all night? And then usually I end up just like halfway in between the two. And it is not great. So I need to figure that out. Because I've also been like I I have a bedroom as a normal human does, but I often forget to use it. Like probably like half the days out of the week, I'll just end up falling asleep on a random couch because it's just where I was when I was tired.
Yeah, I
So
definitely am a big fan of the sofa sleeps.
I don't think it's that bad, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I need to figure out sleeping. It's not great. Oh my god, more medicine.
There's just so much more. I couldn't find it. I was like, where did it go? I refilled it.
I need to refill I need to figure out how to refill one of my like ADHD medications because it's very hard to get refilled. And usually the first people that I have to ask to get it refilled through doesn't have it, so then I have to go to another person, but then that's another app and then it takes more effort. And then it's like this is the thing that it's supposed to be medicating me for, so I can actually like effort and vote, but then I don't do it, and then it's a cycle. So that's where I'm at.
So I actually this is kind of fun and informative and not at all related to what this show is. When I was in Australia, I found out that my cats are fighting. So
I was wondering if that was the cats have like an earthquake.
It feels like an earthquake. Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
I found out that the antidepressant that I take is not prescribed in Australia as an antidepressant. It's prescribed as a smoking cessation aid.
Oh.
I know. And so, but I was going to run out. So I needed to like go to like an urgent care effectively and have them just give me a short course prescription for it. Like, cause I had my pill bottle and it was like, whatever. The cat's just rubbing her face against the laptop, moving it. She's just, these are my hands. I'm not doing anything.
Hands on screen. Hands on screen.
Exactly. But it said, like I'm on refill 3 of 6. So, clearly it's an active prescription, and whatever. So they had no problem giving me a week's worth, just enough to get me back to the States. Sure. And, whatever. But oh my God, number one, it was so expensive. But they were like, yeah, hey, if this ever happens again, it's possible that a doctor may not be cool giving it to you because that's not what it's used for here. Jayla, stop.
Cats.
But
are we good?
What they did say was, this is interesting. Stop. What they did say.
Antidepressant medication conversation with cats.
Exactly. What they did say that was super interesting though is, and I guess it's been here for like ever, because of course it has, but I've never heard of it. Stop it! because the VA sucks, and of course they wouldn't, have educated me or told me about this.
Sure.
Um, there are testing services. It's kind of like 23andMe, but it
Mhm.
is for testing your likelihood based on your genetics to respond to different mental health medications. So, like how you would respond to a broad spectrum. It's like any kind of thing. So it's not just testing like, oh, I have depression. So how would I respond to an antidepressant? It would test me against like bipolar medications, anti-anxiety medications, ADHD medications, any like, and there's different companies, like some do it with like, hey, we're literally going to name the drug. Other companies are like, we can't name the drug. So some tests are more, some tests are less.
Sure.
But like they were like, hey, we would suggest you do something like this because if you did have to switch to a different drug, if, what if for some reason you couldn't take this drug anymore? Because I was like freaking out for a second. I was like, oh my God, like the idea if in my future ever for some reason, like, because they used to use that drug as an antidepressant, I think. And then they like stopped using it. They were like, now we only use it for this. I was like, oh God, what if the US did that?
Mhm.
Um, Having to go through that process again of finding an antidepressant that works for me, because it took like 2 years to find one that worked. It took like 6 tries. And like the side effects, because you got to like taper up and like got to like titrate
Mhm.
it. And then it's like, it works, doesn't work. Is it just that I haven't gotten used to the side effects? Is it that the dosage isn't right?
Yeah, I've done the same thing, and it's not a fun process.
But like knowing that there's a test that would at least give a much closer idea of, oh, okay, really, it looks like these two or three are where we should start. Let's
Mhm.
start with these two or three. It's like, all right, well, great, science. Like,
Yeah.
look at you. So, I might do that. Like that might
Yeah.
be my birthday gift to myself this year is just seeing, cuz like especially because it includes things like anti-anxieties, which on limited courses I do have to take for things like flying,
Sure.
or like inpatient or I'm sorry, outpatient medical procedures and stuff like that, where it's like I'm not under full anesthesia, but I'm like I can't hack this psychologically, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So that stuff exists, people. I had no idea. Everyone else
I wouldn't know
probably
that
knew,
either. I'd
but
be
I
curious
didn't
as
know.
somebody who needs a lot of medication. So, yeah, no, for sure. Also, speaking I guess we're just a medical podcast now. Speaking
Yeah.
of medication, I'm gonna get blood work done. So, for those unaware, I have very bad food allergies, and there's apparently a medication. It's called Xolair, spelled with an X. Love
Mm.
it spelled a solid X, but sounds like a Z spelling. But yeah, so it's this medication called Xolair, and apparently it for food allergies would reduce the likelihood of like a anaphylactic reaction for small doses. So it would be like, I couldn't like have a peanut butter sandwich, but if I accidentally came in contact with the protein equivalent to like two peanuts, then I would probably be fine.
So, like,
So
if you had a cross-contamination incident.
exactly, because that's
Yeah.
a lot of things. So, like, with food allergies, you can get pretty good at, like, avoiding the things by just, like, ingredient whatever, but a lot of reactions will happen from, cross-contamination and then also just stuff that's made in the same facility. So, if you have, like, a cereal and the cereal is fine, but then it's, like, a regular Cheerios or whatever, right? But then it's also made on the same lines as in a factory as, like, Honey Nut Cheerios. Well, that cross-contamination can, still cause an anaphylactic reaction, especially if your allergies are incredibly severe, as mine are for peanut, egg, wheat. I can have tree nuts now. I don't know if I mentioned this before. I
Oh,
can just
no.
randomly have tree nuts now. So that's a thing. I haven't tried it, but according to tests, I can. So that went away
Well,
because all of them were supposed to go away, and then mine just got worse. So that because like typically with food allergies, especially like egg, wheat, you're supposed to grow out of those. Mine just got worse, and the numbers are like incredibly high. My allergist regularly makes a point of like there's some of the highest he's seen. At one point he's just like, "Can we do tests on you?" And I'm like,
Well, you
But
know what I would do is the next time you have to be at like a hospital for J Law.
what was that?
She's just like she kick flipped my computer. Ugh,
That's
she just half
cool.
closed my monitor.
I am on Jayla's side. I
And
think you should allow her to kickflip computers.
she's just well, here's the other one.
Oh,
But anyways, I think that you should next time you're at the hospital for something, I think that that's when you try a tree nut. Like that's where
yeah,
I do it.
we wanna do, like, a food challenge, yeah, because like, they offer those, so since I can scientifically have them, I think that would be something to go for
I
because
feel like
it
that's
would
the
at least open up
responsible
something
place to
like
try it.
trail mixing, yeah, whatever, yeah, because like, we haven't been able to do, like, a food challenge with, like, any of, like, the big ones because the numbers were just too high that it would have been, like, even in a, you know, medical, environment, it still would have been incredibly dangerous, life-threatening to just give me, like, a tiny, eighth of a milligram or whatever, right? Like, so, but yeah, so this, if it works, so we're thinking before I go to college, because that will be in like late August, which is so weird. That's
5
5 months.
months.
I don't like that. I mean, I'm looking forward to it and I'm very excited about it, but also I'm that old.
Oh, you're so old. I mean,
That's
you've got a foot in the
weird.
grave, bro.
I'm gonna be 19 this year. Like,
Mm,
okay, I feel like 19 is not gonna be that weird when I'm 20. No, that like 20s. That's another. That's a new first number.
it is.
I don't know if I like that.
Mm,
I mean, I will, like, I think that but it's odd. Aging,
growth.
always
Mm.
closer to death. But,
Yay, death.
I actually have we had this I don't I think that death is, like, pretty chill. Like, I'm, like, pretty fine with death. I'm not that scared of dying. I'm scared of, like, not feeling like I did enough with my life, but the
Mhm.
act of dying, I don't think is scary. I think that, like, birth and death are just the 2 inherents of, inherent things of life. Those are the only 2 things that everybody will do, really. So, I don't see it as, like, a positive and negative. I just see them as neutral things, and then the positives and negatives come in between. So, I don't really think of death as a bad thing because I know it's going to come at some point, and I'm pretty fine with it coming at some point because, it's not like I'm gonna die and be like, "Oh, I'm sad that I'm dead now. That sucks. I wish I'd
That's
done this."
not what's gonna happen?
Like,
What?
no, I'm just gonna be dead, and it's gonna be whatever. Like, I just there'll be nothing I can do about it. So, yeah, I don't know. I just try to focus on more what I can do
I wanna
now.
check one thing before I decide, by the way, about your movie because I don't know
Oh,
if it's watchable. I just realized it.
but yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting. But anyways, before college, that medication would probably be good to give that safety buffer. Especially because I'll be eating out of like a dining hall. And we'll see. We've talked to this. It's luckily small private school. So,
Yes.
you know, we're able to like talk directly to like the chefs and everything. And it should be fine, but that having that safety buffer would be nice. Unfortunately, it's like without insurance, like $3,000 a month or something like that.
Whoa.
So hopefully it's covered under insurance. And it's kind of tough to figure out right now because it's a brand new medication that's brand new to the market. And they were like just finishing up like trials and everything. So we'll see. Updates to come. Um, yeah. Should we talk about Dune 2 briefly? Though I feel like I shouldn't talk about Dune 2 on camera anymore.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. We'll get to the celebration of the fugitive eventually, but we have lots of things to say because it's been multiple weeks.
It has.
Dune 2, I wasn't really a massive fan. I think that there are things to like, but I had a lot of issues. And it didn't really work for me, particularly on second viewing. I thought that it weakened for me. And then a lot of people got mad at me for saying that.
I mean, the weird thing is I feel like Dan kind of felt the same way, and I feel kind of the same way.
Which
So
I was genuinely really surprised because I know that you're like a massive Dune head. Can I call you
I
Dune head?
know.
Um,
Sure.
yeah, I was kind of surprised because, but I don't know. I really didn't think it were like I think that it's obviously very grandiose and it is a spectacle, but underneath this, like the veneer of the spectacle, it just felt rather hollow, and it felt like a lot of the spectacle was like spectacle for spectacle's sake, rather than like allowing the spectacle to like breathe all of like because like it's a very rich text and like there's a lot to
Yes.
explore, and it felt like it was more interesting in just being like big and being a spectacle rather than actually exploring the text. And that's fine. Not every film has to be like this like rich thematic exploration. But to me, then it felt like it was like going halfway and like, oh, we'll touch on the themes a little bit, but then not actually, dive into them. So then it just felt like it was a bunch of these like start, stop, hollow little things. And then in the third act, it wanted me to care super deeply about the themes, but it didn't earn any of that because it was more interested in being a spectacle. I don't know. Everybody loves it and thinks it's the greatest movie ever. And if you did love it, I'm happy for you. And I wish that I loved it too. But I really didn't think it was that great of a film, even if it is a very good experience.
That's fair.
Would you like to add?
No, I mean, I don't disagree. I Some of the changes made from the book did work for me, some of them didn't. I do think visually it was just stunning. I Dan said it in got a million videos ago now, but the Godzilla minus one team should be very, very happy that
Yeah,
that they moved the release date because that is what gave them an Oscar.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm very happy for that though.
And that Christopher Nolan decided to talk about it, being practical VFX because that also probably would have won if he didn't. If you literally just didn't say anything about it, people would have just assumed it was CGI and probably nominated it.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious about what Dune Messiah is going to be like. Uh I don't really part of me is like I don't know de- depending on how depending on how much further they decide they're going to shape it away from
Hmm.
the book and the books.
Sure.
I don't know how many more they should adapt and if they should just stop calling them the name of books and maybe just start numbering them as like, like Dune 3, Dune 4, whatever.
I can't
And then
imagine it
just
goes beyond the trilogy.
I just mean like part of me almost wishes that it was just like I hope part of me is almost like it should just be like Dune 1, Dune 2, Dune 3. Like I almost don't want them to name
Dune Messiah.
after books because I think they should just start taking chunks from the various
Yeah.
parts and pertinent things of stories, especially because the next book is actually kind of like super boring a little bit.
And I
little
found
bit.
this one boring, so I don't like. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So I
don't
don't know.
know. Yeah, I could see them just calling it Doom Part 3, though. I feel like that makes sense. And here's
That'd
the
be
thing,
fine.
even though I didn't particularly love this, like I am still excited for the third installment, and I'm still,
Yeah.
very good because like I don't know. Like I'm really hoping it lands on its feet because this one it felt like it was a bit it was just lost in the sauce, right? It had too many things and didn't really feel like it ever found a strong foothold on like what it wanted to be, and none of the character dynamic. Like everybody's like having fun, but I don't know if it entirely worked together. Like Butler,
Mm.
fun performance on his own. I don't know if it entirely worked with everything else the film was doing. Same thing with like Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya. I didn't entirely feel their chemistry and felt like their relationship was kind of underdeveloped, which really hurts what happens in the third act, considering how underdeveloped I kind of felt they were. Um, Javier Bardem's just having fun. I don't know.
He's so
Like
naive.
like yeah, I don't know. I'm disappointed I can't be in on the love because it I want to like everything, but it's just yeah.
Yeah. I'm I'm really excited. I do want to watch, like, once it comes out for home release, I do want to watch the two squished together, like
Yeah,
squishy squished. Like I did watch the first one right before the second one more than once, but I do
right.
want to just basically sandwich them like
Yeah,
in immediacy.
yeah. Is it weird that I still think that David Lynch's Dune is my favorite of the three Dune films?
It's because it has the pug.
And it's also okay. I this is one of the things I said that people got mad about. Okay, the Villeneuve Dune films, are they beautiful? Yes. However, I do feel like they lack like interiority within in character in their visuals. Like it felt like so much of less so in part one, but in part two, it felt so much of like the visual design was done so for aesthetic sake rather than for like actually developing the interiority and like um just like providing a feeling to the world, I guess, particularly with the Fremen. Like and it felt like we were just told about their culture rather than really being able to
Mm.
feel it, and you could do that with the visual design and make us just feel the world, which I think some of the best, like, sci-fi films do. They invite you into the and and they can transport you by letting you feel it, and I feel like while it created this really, like, brutalist, like, stunning, striking imagery, it felt like yes, so many of the visual choices were done for aesthetic sake rather than, like, actual, like yeah, building
Especially
character
when,
development.
like, at the end of the first movie when Stilgar is like, "Oh, he's young enough, he can learn our ways and stuff." And then they just, like, skip learning all of their ways and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And I will say, like, say what you want about the David Lynch film, that movie has character, it has a feeling, like, it has interesting visual design. Like, I don't know, I think it's
It
fun.
sure does have that.
Like, I and it's camp, and it's funny.
It it is that. It's very camp.
This is in the same way that I genuinely will like, die on the hill that Batman, the movie 1966, is one of the best comic book movies ever made.
That movie is legit so fun. It
Like, that
is
movie
so
is a
fun.
comic book in the same like, okay,
Yeah.
sorry, in the same way that people talk about the Spider-Verse movies, it's like, "Oh my god, it's a comic book." That's what Batman the movie 1966 is. Like, and it is so
Mhm.
fun, and I genuinely think it's the best Batman movie. I would genuinely, with my full chest, say that. Like, I love that movie. It's amazing. So,
It is
yeah,
so fun.
yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to read my favorite comment that I got on my Doom Part 2 review.
Oh, dear.
I made it my new Twitter banner as well.
Oh, dear.
That little twink Trevor doesn't know shit. He just enjoys being a hipster contrarian for the sake of it.
Well, I'm gonna leave it like this because it's comedy. Parts of that are true. I'll leave it up to you to decide which ones.
I yeah? Yeah. Okay, one thing. I'm counting the things. How many things do we think are true? Okay.
See,
I'm
this
counting
is what I
one.
love because you're gonna spiral about it for like 2.5 minutes, and I could just be lying completely just because I just want to make
Well,
you
I
go
think I
crazy.
agree with I do think I like so I'm counting one. Okay. I do
That's great.
I'm gonna give that like 2.5 correct things out of like 4 things.
It's funny. I would have given it like 1.5, maybe,
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, Sir
I wonder if
Pounce,
we're
you
agreeing on the
disagree?
things.
Sir Pounce, what? Oh, really?
Uh,
Oh,
oh,
yeah. Oh,
talkative.
you,
I
you
just
don't
learned
say?
so when they, like, see a bird and then they go
Yeah.
like, so I just learned that that's because they're, like, imitating a bird and they're trying to, like, lure it.
Oh,
Like, the
I
little,
didn't know
like,
that.
chattering noi yeah, they're trying to, like, make a bird sound so that way it, like, thinks it's a bird and then it will come over. They think that they're being sneaky.
Oh, that makes it so much cuter.
They're like trying to pull off like a covert operation and get you
Aw, you're such a fat bird.
uh oh, okay. Fat bird actually leads me into the next topic.
Perfect.
Um, because Fat Bird is a line in the bank scene in Mary Poppins. They're like, if you give your tuppence to the birds, you just get fat birds. And
Ha!
I know that because I am in a ballet again with my sister Clara. Because Clara, my sister, is a very, very good ballet dancer. And since I am available, I was told, not asked, I was told that I was going to be performing. So I did this in the winter where I played the body double for Ebenezer Scrooge during the Christmas Carol, and I flew, and it was very fun. And like no, they sell it like a theater. It's like the Britain, it's like this, auditorium. It's called auditorium, and it's like 6,000 people, 5,000, 6,000 people. So like it's a
What?
decent sized theater, and it's very fun. I like performing in front of large groups of people because I like being the center of attention. Um,
Same.
so, so this time I was told that I am being the Dick Van Dyke like old banker role
Oh!
during that bank sequence. So I get to do like physical comedy and be old, which I can do. And then I'm also being Uncle Albert laughing on the ceiling because I have learned how to fly. So I'm going to be flying and on the ceiling.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I will be at rehearsals for doing those things in the coming weeks. So it's fun. I don't know. I like performing.
So the real question is it going to be like last time where the flying did not go successfully until evening of show?
Hopefully not, because I don't think there's going to be I think the movement's going to be more vertical,
Oh,
right?
okay.
I'm just coming up to
Rather
the
than
ceiling. Yeah, because the last time we were going side to side, and one girl when they did the Wizard of Oz, the girl who was playing the Wicked Witch, they didn't have her up higher enough and just slammed her face first into the house that she was supposed to go over.
I mean, that's kind of funny.
It was kind of funny, but but yeah. So, anyways, that's a thing. Also, transition. The Oscars
Yes.
were good for the most part.
Mhm.
I was pretty happy with the winners.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, there are the obvious ones, like we all know Oppenheimer, right? I mean,
What's that about?
I don't know, like Christopher Nolan gonna win. Yeah, we all knew that one. Cillian Murphy, I feel like was pretty locked going this night. Still a great win. Did you see all the video of like the little kids from like Cork or wherever he's from at like the primary school all celebrating his win? It's so cute.
Oh, no, I
It's
didn't.
so fun. It's like all the little kids from his hometown in school, like they're all like so it's the best. Um I personally preferred Lily Gladstone to Emma Stone, but
A little bit, yeah.
Emma Stone is still like excellent in that movie. I mean, it was a win-win
Oh, yeah.
scenario. I mean, if you even threw Sandra Huller's name in there, a win-win-win scenario. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's really
Me,
unfortunate that they were all in the same year because
it's kinda like Kate Blanchett last year. Like, if Kate
yeah,
Blanchett had won, I would have been like, "Oh my god, like, what another Oscar-worthy performance."
right. It's yeah. It's again, it's just it's unfortunate that okay. It's unfortunate that it's all in the same year because they all would have been like all-timer contender winners. Honestly, like it's great all around. Um, I mean, Anatomy of a Fall winning screenplay is so cool. Like it's so cool that they actually
Yes.
did that, and also that Justin Trey walked up onto the stage with the "Pimp" by 50 Cent playing. Just the best. I genuinely like they should let somebody do that every year. I don't care if the song can have nothing to do with the movie, but that is just such a great walk-up song. Like somebody should have done that for the Schmodown. Like why did nobody ever use
Ah,
that song? It's such a fun like entrance song. I don't know.
I'll work on that. That'll be if it ever comes back, I'll just be like, I'll pay the licensing.
I went down like a random Schmodown memory lane rabbit hole the other day when I was
Oh,
not going to sleep. I say day, it was night. But yeah, what a time. What a
oh,
time.
in what way?
Just you know, particularly during COVID, it was just such a blur because like it was also when I started like working with like you and everybody in the dungeon, and it was weird because I had watched and then now I was there and then I kind of stopped watching it because I was like so into the thing with all you, and it was just such a chaotic thing with yeah, I don't
We
know.
should do the thing where, because do you want to tell people what we kind of started doing a little bit, our little challenge?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So there is actually a very fun like Schmodown game that somebody made. I found it on like the Schmodown Reddit a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Back when I, you know, still used that thing. But it's also what a place, the Schmodown Reddit. Wolf. Uh
Oh God.
but
What a toxic wasteland.
yeah. But anyway, somebody made this game where, you know, you can like it simulates different, you know, Schmodown players like um, stats and stuff, and then you can play against them. And it, you know, it has a pretty big question bank. And there's singles, Intergeekdom, Star Wars, free for all. Like it's a pretty all-encompassing game. So for those of you who knew it, you know, knew us from the Schmodown thing, you know, which is probably most of you, it's very fun. It's very fun. I'll put the link in like the description or top comment to this video or whatever. But anyways, Mara and I are trying to be all 7 levels of the singles uh mode
Yes.
as a team together because inner geekdom, you know, you probably just take that, right? You probably go all the way through, and I'm not much of a help if we're being
Yeah.
completely honest.
I mean, it's not like, yeah, you're not much of a help, but I mean, yeah, just a little bit of like re-proficiency and then, inner geeked, and that was the whole point.
Right, you know, you're one of the best players of all time in that division. I think we can pretty comfortably say you're bare minimum top 4. Bare
I
minimum
think
top
that's
4.
fair. Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I mean, how many two-time champions were there? Only a couple, a few, only a few.
is it just Mike was Rachel ever 2-time? I mean, Rachel's obviously up there regardless, but I
Well,
think it's
yeah, of
just
course.
Mike, Kevin,
Kevin
you.
was. Uh, Parker ended up being a two-time champion, didn't he? No?
No, I don't think so. I think he just won the one.
Oh, that's right. He got up there and he was close 2 more times, I
Yeah,
think, but then he
yeah.
lost both times.
So I think it's just Mike, Kevin, you, and I don't know if Rachel I feel like she must have. She must have at some point. Surely.
I don't think so, actually, because I think she won it off Mike, and then Mike won it back, and then I don't think she
Did she
won it
never
again.
win it again?
I don't think so.
Really? Interesting. Yeah, because then like Chandra and Kevin came in, and then I don't think, yeah. Because then she retired before like the COVID era. But
Yeah, like,
regardless,
before I
I
came
think
back.
huh?
Yeah, before I came back.
Yeah, yeah. So, but regardless, I think that you 4 are pretty comfortably top 4 all time.
Man, we are just I mean, it was such a small division as well.
It was, yeah.
Anyways, like, we're getting way off topic,
We're
but no,
getting
we're
way
gonna
off
beat that
topic.
robot.
No, no,
We're
yeah.
gonna beat those robots.
But yeah, no. But the Oscars, anything else of note? Oh, Jonathan Glazer gave an amazing speech and people are mad at him about it. Um, I don't know. I don't know if you'd agree. I thought it was the speech of the night. Like,
Yeah, probably.
I mean, just incredibly brave considering how, you know, hostile that room was going to be towards
Yep.
him and all of the backlash that he's got online. Like you could see his hand shaking as he's reading it out. But I mean, yeah, no, just like I don't know who is more qualified in that exact moment in time to make that speech as a Jewish man who just won an Oscar for making a film about the Holocaust to
Yep.
then call out the, you know, weaponization of the Jewish religion, Judaism, and the Holocaust by the Israeli state to justify their actions. Like
Yep.
who like who more perfect in that moment to make that statement and to call them out, and to use that platform to correct some of the coverage. Like there's still the article, like that will come out from like like even like CNN will be like, what's but no, it is wild to see those articles where it's just like even CNN, which is supposed to be like, oh, the left communist news network CNN, but even they'll
Oh.
be like 20 Palestinians died in incident today. It was like, yes, they just happened to die in an incident.
The
Like
world just hurts my brain.
I've been quite proud of myself. I haven't been on Twitter in like 4 days.
No way.
Yeah, I've been getting off of it. Because like I have it blocked on my laptop. I have the app deleted from my phone. The only way I can get on it is through like Google Chrome on my phone, which is just a terrible experience to use twitter.com on
Oh God, yeah.
mobile on Google Chrome. So I very, very rarely use it. But it's been nice. It's been less brain damaging. So
Putting in a food order really quick for
nice.
the room right next door to me where Dan's gonna bring me food.
But yeah, no. But yeah, no, great speech. I'm also so happy it won sound. One of the best wins
Yes.
ever, maybe? Like ever? Yeah.
I just love it because it, in its own totally different way, like in its own unique way, it reminds me of 1917 winning editing, because it's like
Yeah.
it's the subtlety of the craftsmanship. It's the fact that you didn't necessarily notice how brilliant
Right.
it
You
was,
didn't go with because
is
like
the
Oppenheimer's
brilliance
obviously
of
good
it.
sound, but that's the obvious. It's the big booms.
Yeah.
Whereas Zone of
Like,
Interest, like that movie, like I genuinely think it's my favorite sound work in film, maybe ever. Like
so good.
that film, best movie of the year. Like yeah, no, it's always so fun to find like that movie every year. Like every year so far this decade, I've had that movie, and it's usually something that's barely on my radar at the start of the year. I mean, I think every like the last 3 years has been Zone of Interest, After Sun, and Teton. None of
Mhm.
which were really like After Sun and Teton, definitely not. Zone of Interest, I was kind of aware of it going into the year, but not
Mhm.
entirely. I was just aware that Jonathan Glazer was making a movie about the Holocaust and that I like Jonathan Glazer a lot because I love Under the Skin. But
Yeah.
that's about it. So it's always fun to see like because like I know I'll have that movie this year, but I just have no clue what it is yet, and it's always very fun to discover it. But yeah, no, was very, very happy with that. So yeah. Any last other things? Oh, I voted for the first time.
Oh my gosh. Congrats.
What
Isn't
a year to
democracy
vote in
like
the
the
primary.
best? Aren't you so proud that you're making a difference?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't like because also in Illinois, it's so stupid. So they make you pick like Democratic ballot or Republican ballot.
Yep.
Um, so I don't know what I did. Not to get political again.
Oh
But
dear.
it's our podcast, so whatever.
Yes, exactly.
So because I'm sure you said there's a lot of people that are doing like the uncommitted thing rather than just putting down Biden because of,
Right.
a lot of his mishandling of the situation that
Oh,
was just mentioned with Israel and Palestine. So that is not an option, uncommitted in Illinois. So the recommendation from a lot of voice crack, Jesus Christ, a lot of Muslim.
are you
Uh,
sure you're allowed to vote?
you're right. Yeah, I know. I'm actually 14 still. But no, the recommendation is like a lot of like Muslim communities and different groups was to just write in Gaza as a thing
Oh
to try
wow.
to. get that up on the polls and get that up there, because it's just, obviously Joe Biden's going to win the Democratic primary, and obviously I'm going to vote for Joe Biden, not Donald Trump, when it comes to the general election, right? And obviously Illinois is just going to go to Biden anyways, because Chicago. So because the electoral system, it's not like my vote would matter that much anyways. But
Yeah.
I'm going to be voting for Biden there. This isn't going to hurt his chances to win the Democratic nomination here. It's just more so about, the people who are going uncommitted and people who are writing in Gaza, just to get that up there to make a statement. So that's what I did with my first vote.
I really wish that things had just, I mean, again, we're off the beaten path right now.
Yeah.
I just really wish that they hadn't screwed over Bernie Sanders the way that they did, because I feel like
Yes.
we'd be in a very different country right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not saying that we can guarantee it'd be better.
Mm-hmm.
I can't know that for sure, but I
Yeah. And it's not like he
seriously
hasn't
doubt
said
it would
some
be much
questionable things.
worse.
Right. And like it's not like he hasn't said some questionable things as well about like, the Israel-Palestine conflict, right? But like overall, I think it's pretty safe to say that we can't say for sure. Oh, Dan Hand cameo?
Yes.
Possibly.
I got given dry cereal because my stomach is very
I love dry
upset
cereal.
right now.
I do love dry cereal.
Yeah.
But
I might
yeah,
eat
I
that
don't know.
periodically, by the way, because it'll be real crunchy.
So good, so good. But yeah, I know. Like, yeah, we can't guarantee that it would have been better with Bernie. And it's not like Bernie Sanders is a perfect politician, because no politician is perfect. But I think considering where we're at now, I think he would have been, a far, far better option. Um, uh, just as far as his like just fiscal policy in particular, I think is the big one, because like people I think often look at like just the social issues, right? And it's like, oh, what are their thoughts on like, racial issues and gender issues? Like, those things don't need to be political, right? And those things can be fixed through like financial policy. And that's where like the actual politicking happens. And I think that Bernie's policies as far as those things go were, I think, far better than what we have currently, whether it would be Biden or Trump. So
I mean, given the choice, I would have been more proud voting for the first Jewish president than I would have been proud voting for the first female president that year.
especially considering who it was. Yeah. And I swear to God, if Kamala Harris is the first female president,
Yeah, no thanks.
ugh. Yeah. Okay.
No,
Also, well, while we're just on political thing, who's going to be Donald Trump's vice president?
it's scary to think about.
Like, did you see that RFK Jr. was initially asked like Aaron Rodgers to be his vice president? Which would have been
I don't understand the world.
so funny. And also just what it's like, Mar, you realize that in like, I don't know, 10, 15 years, the presidential race is going to be between like Taylor Swift and Mr. Beast. Like, we're
entering idiocracy.
yeah. I want to move to Europe.
Just go to Norway, man. Norway's where it's
That's
at.
where I want to go. I want to go to like Norway, Finland, Sweden, like one of the Scandinavian countries, and learn there. I also think that I would be quite happy in like a French countryside, and I think that I would. I don't know. I identify very strongly with the French. I feel like I would fit in there more so than I do. I I don't know if you picked up. I have a lot of mixed feelings about America. Um, so
I've never gotten that.
I know we've never talked about this, but yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I would like really vibe in the front. I don't know if they'd take to me, but I could make it happen.
Yeah, I could leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go start a commune in Sweden. We'll call it. We'll jump off of cliffs and stuff.
We'll call it the basement.
Yep. and then we'll invite Florence Pugh, and it'll be fun.
Oh my god, she makes really good tea.
Oh yeah, wait. I know that she does stuff with like cooking now and food because she did that kitchen thing with Instagram, and yeah, interesting. Well, now that we've talked about geopolitical issues,
And movies that are not the movies that we
yeah, a lot
usually
of
talk
movies that
about.
are not the movies that for 50 minutes. Oh my god. Should we talk about The Fugitive or The Celebration or one of the two?
Which one do you want to do first?
I want to get into The Fugitive.
Okay.
So, I was very skeptical because this did
Okay.
not feel like a movie that I would like, but I had a lot of fun. I think that this movie was
Yeah.
like really, really fun, and this is how I described it because a couple of my friends were very surprised that I liked it. First of all, I do think it is very weird that Tommy Lee Jones won an Oscar for this. Like just watching that was just like it's not like a bad performance by any means, but I was just like, especially I don't know, compared to like what wins Oscars now, it's just very weird that like in back-to-back years they had supporting winners of Marissa Tomei and My Cousin Vinny, and then Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive, which like Marissa Tomei and My Cousin Vinny is one of my favorite Best Supporting Actress winners of all time. I think that she's like absolutely brilliant in that movie, but it's just yeah, very very strange. But I mean, I'm here for it. Let's Oscar wins can be fun. Yeah, I don't know the way that I kind of talked about it to people was like I typically like my movies to like have meaning and be like, oh, I can dive into them and dissect them thematically and all of these pretentious things. But I'm also perfectly fine if a movie just sets out to be silly and fun, and if it succeeds in being silly and fun, then I'm in. Now, a lot of times, I feel like there are not a lot of times, but I feel like there are plenty of movies that just try to be silly and fun and do not, in fact, be silly and fun. And that's where movies lose me because then I just get bored because then you're not doing anything and you are not silly and fun. The Fugitive is very silly and fun, and I loved all of it.
Yeah.
It's so like I don't know, and I also just really like Chicago and like just like it
Yes.
uses Chicago so well with like the cat and mouse, and like weaving in and out of pieces. Like, I mean, Harrison Ford is just giving a really fun performance. Tommy Lee Jones is giving a really fun performance. Like it genuinely in like this is what this is like a they don't make them like they used to type of movie, and I feel like people throw that around a lot. But like I feel like it's overused, I guess. And I feel like this is a time where it's warranted, where like it genuinely has absolutely no interest in being anything but just watching Harrison Ford get chased throughout Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's just well done and it's fun. Like this is why kids, like get super into like YouTube videos of like I mentioned Mr. Beast earlier, like Mr. Beast being like, I hired a professional assassin to chase me throughout, the United States. He has 1 week to find me, and then I'll give him $1 million. And then it's just like a 20-minute YouTube video with like more edits than Bohemian Rhapsody. That's just like,
Ah.
that's just that. And it's just him getting chased. And I do think that there are people who will respond to that, and I think often, especially with like contemporary action movies, they're just like they're too interested in trying to be something more and trying to be too broad and aren't just comfortable simply being what they are. And I think if you just really hone in on just you are just fun action movie, just be fun action movie, you can just be really good movie.
Yeah. I also
So
just think though he gives a really good performance.
he's
Like
genuinely good.
that interview, like in the opening credits, where
Yeah,
he's just like broken
yeah,
about like his dead wife and the fact that they legit think that he killed her.
yeah.
Like he's good. Like
Yeah,
he's
and that's the other thing,
really
you need good
good.
actors. I'm sorry, you can't just throw The Rock and everything. Like, I just, not saying that he's a bad actor, but in those roles where he's just, action star, like I just, he isn't Harrison Ford. Like,
Very few are.
right. So I don't know. It's just kind of like a perfect storm of a movie, to be honest. Like it's just
And
like
you've got like a really deep buried like cast of great supporting as well. Like
yeah.
you've got
What's
Joey
Julianne
Pants.
Moore doing in this?
Yeah,
Like,
Julianne was in it. Jane Lynch is
I'm
in
sorry,
it.
I did actually, like, I made an audible noise. I was like, Julia what? Like, what? Like, it's just
Right?
so random, but yeah, just so fun. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's great fun. I can recite that movie, I swear to God. Like,
go now.
I love that movie. I mean,
Recite
and
it.
you're right. It is so Chicago. Like, Chicago is a character in that movie.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is one of those, like, cities place. And also, so I watched it, and then a couple days later, I was in Chicago on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah.
It's
So,
funny because now they actually do dye the river blue. They dye it back. And I think it's so funny that the movie makes that joke about
yeah,
dyeing the river back, and now they actually do it.
yeah. I also okay, that cannot they claim that it is completely environmentally friendly and not toxic at all. I do not believe that for a second. It is like I don't know. It does not pass the vibe check. Like
Mm.
there's no way you can show me Green River and be like, it's fine.
Tinky.
I,
Anybody
I
who's seen the movie will get that. Tinky.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I also so they keep the recipe for the dye like very secret. And like we know like some
What is
of
it,
it.
like the Coca-Cola recipe or something?
I don't know. Well, I think why. So apparently there's like we know like some of it and it doesn't take like that much to get the dye. And then there's some like mystery ingredients or whatever. And I think why is because like somebody could like for under like $200 $300 just do it if they just released if they made the recipe public, could people not just do it whenever?
I mean, would they be able to make enough to actually affect the whole, like it's a somewhat sizable body of water.
Yeah, I don't know. You could get like a corner, just
Yep.
like a little, I don't know, a 6 meter section. Could work. I'm scheming,
But yeah,
but
it's a fun movie. Anytime that, like, if I was, let's say I'm at a hotel, if I'm scrolling through cable, it's the middle of the night, maybe I'm like off sleep schedule, or I just want something on in the background while I'm unpacking or trying to fall asleep. If that movie is on, 100% I stay on the channel every
yeah.
single time.
Well, and it's fun
100%.
because like it feels it does feel like you could just jump in whenever and immediately you're into the tension. Like it's a really well edited film, like because it's very tight. I know it strikes the balance of being very tight and like constantly propelling motion while also not being like overcut to the point where you get you lose the connection to the characters and what's actually happening. And I feel like it pulls that balance like really really cleanly, which is what makes the film work so well. In that you do feel like there's constant action going on and there's it's constantly stimulating. There's constantly another thing, but also you can feel invested in Harrison Ford and in Tommy Lee Jones as actual characters.
I strongly discourage you from watching the sequel, U.S.
I
Marshals.
was just going to bring up how I'm never going to watch that.
Okay, good. I do love, like, people. I don't know if people understand, like, our brains function, and I don't mean this in a way that is superior. I just mean that it's different. Our brains function on a different plane of existence than everyone else, but it's the same plane. It's the same
Yes,
frequency,
it might be on
and
a lower plane.
it might be.
It could, but
It's just different.
it's just the same. We're on
Yeah, it's like
parallel.
there's nothing wrong with listening to NPR. There's nothing wrong with listening to heavy metal. There's nothing wrong with listening to, like shock jock radio. We're just on one of those frequencies, whichever one it is, but it's different than everyone else's. And I love that our brains were like, yeah, don't even.
Just avoid. I will say, okay, wait, trivia question. So you know who directed U.S. Marshals?
Ooh.
You're gonna recognize this game because it's an inner geekdom director.
Hmm. Have they directed more than one Inner Geekdom film?
No, they've only directed one other movie, and it's an inner geekdom movie.
Okay.
They made two movies, an inner geekdom movie and U.S. Marshals.
Can I have the okay, wait, hold on.
If I give the name, you'll probably be able to get the movie. The IG.
Well, yeah, of course. What year did U.S. Marshals come out? I forget.
U.S.
Was it
Marshals
early
came out in
2000s?
1998.
Oh, late 2000s. Okay, 98. I'm assuming the Intergeekdom movie would have been around that time as well.
I can give the year for the IG movie if you want.
Okay, sure.
So U.S. Marshals 98, the IG movie 2002. Only 2 movies they ever made.
Okay. 2002.
Oh wait, I lied. There's a 1996 movie, but nobody cares, I think.
Nobody cares.
Oh, Dan has seen it.
The Intergeekdom movie or the other one?
The other random one from 1996 that I said nobody cares about.
Oh, interesting. Maybe that means I've seen it.
It actually does have a cast.
Oh. Can you tell me who like the 2 leads would be in that other movie?
The other random movie, it came in 1996, and it is I'll give 3 leads: Kurt Russell, Steven Seagal, and Halle Berry. I'm reading the
Okay.
premise. It seems very, very 1996. Do you have any idea? Would you like
Is
to
it a
know?
Marvel movie?
No, it is not. Would you like to know what the other random movie is?
Sure.
It is Executive Decision.
Oh. Okay.
I've not heard of this film.
I knew it wasn't Under Siege, but I couldn't remember which other Seagal movie was around that time.
So this person directed Executive Decision, U.S. Marshals, in a 2002 IG movie. This is very random.
Oh, wait.
Oh, are we getting somewhere?
Wait.
Are we getting somewhere?
Is it a Star Trek movie?
It is.
Oh my god. Is it Star Trek Nemesis?
It is.
Oh my god. Is that Stuart Baird? Is that
It's
who did that?
Stuart Baird.
Oh my god. I love that I got there. Wow.
Yeah, you did get there. So I got curious because I was just looking through this person. So yeah, Stuart Baird directed only 3 movies ever: Executive Decision, U.S. Marshals, and Star Trek Nemesis. And that was it. But they are an editor, and they edited Skyfall and Casino Royale.
I was gonna say I've noted I've seen their name in a lot of editing from some really good movies. There's so I believe Stuart Beattie, the guy that directed I, Frankenstein, also I believe either in I know they've done some writing, like they have some really good story credits, but I believe also I think has done editing on a bunch of really big movies, but definitely did some story work. I want to say on like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Fascinating. Yeah, I love just looking through like the depths of like I mean I just use Letterboxd, but like yeah, no, this Stuart Baird did edited Skyfall, Casino Royale, Green Lantern, Die Hard 2, Lethal Weapon, Tomb Raider, Superman the movie 1978, The Omen, Salt, Demolition Man, Lethal Weapon 2, like The Legend of Zorro, Maverick from 1994. Like just a fascinating collection of films, and then also just directed 3 random movies. Very interesting. So, yeah. But I did also just want to read a Letterboxd review for The Fugitive that I found quite fun.
Yes, please.
Okay, review in question. Dad, you bought a new TV? Me. Yeah. Dad, it can connect to the internet? Me. Sure. Dad, I want to watch The Fugitive, the one with Harrison Ford. Help me look it up on the internet. Me. Okay. Dad, you know who Harrison Ford is? Me. Yeah. Dad, no you don't. Me. Indiana Jones. Dad. Dad, the movie's a classic. Dad again. That's Tommy Lee. You know who Tommy Lee is? Me. Yeah. Dad. No, you don't. I mean,
Oh
if
my
you aren't
God.
having those conversations.
The funny thing is, the way that that's said, Tommy Lee and Tommy Lee Jones are two very different people. Those are two very, 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 very different people that I know.
Who plays who better?
Who play? What do you mean? Who
Like,
plays who better?
if Tommy Lee were to play Tommy Lee Jones, or if
Oh
Tommy
God.
Lee Jones were to play Tommy Lee, who can pull it
I
off better?
mean, Tommy Lee Jones because he's an actual actor.
I think you underestimate the power.
You think?
Anyways.
Man, you know what I do love though is Sebastian Stan as Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know he's playing Donald Trump now.
I'm not frozen. I just can't move.
Wait, are you aware of this film?
No.
It's called The Apprentice.
Oh Jesus God.
It's like it's getting a festival run. This is gonna be like a best picture. I mean, it's gunning for it. So it's directed by Ali Abbasi, who did Holy Spider a few years ago. I don't know if you remember that movie. Also Border, the 2018 film that got like a makeup nomination. So it's the story of how young Donald Trump started his real estate business in New York during the 1970s and 80s. It's starring Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump, Jeremy Strong as Roy Cohn, and Maria Baklava as Ivana Trump.
Oh, Maria Bakalova.
Yeah, sorry, I misread. Yeah.
That's okay. Oh, good God. Oh, my.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
The sad thing is I'm interested.
I am very interested.
I hope it's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope
Yeah,
they don't
it'll be
sugarcoat a
fascinating.
damn thing.
It will be fascinating. Another interesting movie that I just learned about, SNL 1975. It'll be coming out this year. It's a new Jason Reitman film.
What? Ooh,
And it
okay.
is about the start of SNL. Like the people who started SNL. And
Ooh.
here's the cast. Are you ready for this? Gabriel LaBelle as Lorne Michaels.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, ready? Cooper Hoffman as Dick Ebersol.
Okay. All right.
Rachel Sennett as Rosie Schuster.
I know you love that.
I'm very here for it. A couple other interesting ones. Nicholas Braun is playing Andy Kaufman.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Who else? Corey Michael Smith is playing Chevy Chase.
I don't know if I recognize that name. Who's that?
He was in like May December and Carol in like small roles. He's played Edward Nygma in Gotham.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, I'm very, very curious. Dylan O'Brien is Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, that's gonna be inspired.
Yeah. Andrew Barth Feldman is playing Neil Levy.
Okay.
He's the you know who Andrew Barth Feldman is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It is what like I don't know, very, very interesting career path for him. Did you watch No Hard Feelings?
Yes.
Thoughts?
I liked it. I felt like it had some really complicated and somewhat inappropriate messaging, especially if the genders had been swapped. I think that people would have boycotted that movie hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm mixed. Oh, and then the other interesting casting, Kaya Gerber as Jacqueline Carlin, which I just think is very interesting.
Wait, why do I know her name? Which who I heard? I can't recall.
Bottoms.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you.
So, yeah, but I'm very. I mean, like, listen, you put Rachel Sennett in a film, but also just like that this leading three of Rachel Sennett, Cooper Hoffman, Gabriel Lavelle fascinates me in a Jason Reitman movie.
I'm super excited. I just like the idea of it as well.
Yeah, no, it seems fun. It seems fun. But yeah,
It seems like a
anyways.
movie that could easily get a screenplay nom if it's
Oh,
good.
absolutely. It'll get like Globe comedy, like noms everywhere. But yeah, anyways, The Fugitive. I mean, it's weird. I feel like there isn't that much to say about The Fugitive because it would mainly just be going like, oh, scene, that was really fun. Scene, this was really fun. It is an interesting choice considering how long we talked about our medications at the but you know, what do you do? Yeah, any closing thoughts on The Fugitive? I'm really happy that I did like genuinely really like it though.
I'm happy that you found things to like. Like, for example, if you had said, hey, it's good, but not quite for me. I get why people like it. I get why dads like it. I get why this is a dad movie. I'd be like,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like, that totally tracks. I would not have found that surprising.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you found something in it that you enjoyed. Like, that pleases me.
Much stronger entry to the dad canon for me than Top Gun Maverick, I will say.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that as well? I assume.
I think it plays harder to that demographic.
Yeah.
Because back then, I think you could really get away with not having to try and say, I'm going to try and specifically target 4-quadrant to make money.
Yeah.
I think you could say, I'm going to target a quadrant and I'm going to make a movie that makes money.
Just
especially
go
when you could
hard
hang your
into that
hat
quadrant.
on.
Yeah.
Well, and you could hang your hat on Harrison Ford.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, especially back, like, right at that time, it's just like Harrison Ford. And also recognizable property because it was a TV show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. What are, this is a question I already talked about. Like, what are the movie stars right now?
I mean,
Because
Tom Cruise, I would say, is still a movie star.
honestly, if I may, I feel like the movie stars are kind of directors. Like, I feel like Christopher Nolan is like the
Oh,
biggest
yeah.
movie star.
Oh, yeah. I didn't necessarily mean he was the biggest, but I would say he's still a movie star.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But like, I don't know. I feel like we weirdly are at a point where like directors do have like a very big name draw. Like people like Christopher Nolan, like I feel like Greta Gerwig, honestly, at this point, will just have a massive name draw for theaters. Like,
I mean, in a certain circle, Ari Aster, I think, is a huge draw.
Yeah. I mean, like with the success of Nope, like I feel like Jordan Peele is a draw. I mean, obviously, like, I don't know, but I feel like Nolan right now is genuinely the biggest movie star because he is like the actor, director, whatever. You put Christopher Nolan's name on it, people will show up.
Well, yeah, especially now. Like,
yeah. So I think it's interesting though. Like I genuinely, like honestly think the biggest movie star is a director. So
I like that. That's like such a cool way to look at it.
no, because like who else? Like like you have your Tom Cruise. But, like, I will say I think that Zendaya is getting up to that point of like
a little bit
an actor. Like we'll see how Challengers does with like box office and stuff. But like I feel like that's. I mean, I feel like Timothy Chalamet with like I mean he carried Wonka on his back.
Yeah.
Like I like Timmy. Yeah, I feel like he's getting up there as a movie star. But it's
I
interesting.
mean, I would have said The Rock like 4 years ago.
I don't think anymore. No.
And
like I think people lean towards like the MCU actors, but I don't think they're movie stars. I think that their characters are movie stars. But I don't think.
Well, I would have said maybe like Chris Evans in the heart of the MCU because like he was still doing other stuff, and his other stuff got carried by the popularity of the MCU. But I think that's kind of fallen off, especially because the projects that he's done haven't really been good, even if he's been good in them.
Sure. Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, Knives Out is the last thing I can think of where like Chris Evans was like good.
I liked what he was doing in The Gray Man. The movie itself just didn't like come together for me, but like him being like a like just a complete and total like
Sure.
sociopath, like I went to Harvard and I'm completely unhinged. Somehow that whole thing came together for me. I forget what the name was, but it's like, because I got shot in the ass, Diane, or whatever it was. Like that totally worked for me.
I feel like though when you're looking at The Gray Man, you're kind of reaching the bottom of
Oh
the
yeah.
barrel.
No, but that's what
Like,
I mean though, where like I liked
yeah,
him in it, but the movie didn't work, you
yeah,
know?
for sure. I feel like Ryan Reynolds
He
is
couldn't carry it.
around
Oh yeah.
there. I think
Ray, I
he's kind
think
up there.
is like bottom tier of like,
Yeah.
can he be called a movie star?
I feel like you could make an argument for Emma Stone.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely an argument to be made. But people will show up to a theater for Emma Stone, especially for a weird movie like Poor Things. Like, it's still
Yeah.
got a pretty good box office return considering what type of movie it was. So,
Yeah.
yeah, interesting. Um, okay, now let's talk about kind of an anti-movie.
Man, I gotta say, like, what a ride.
Oh
I
God.
get I 100% get the Succession derivation.
Oh yeah.
100%.
And like it's like all of the stuff that like the foundational relationship between the father and the children is explored in an entirely different way in Succession.
Yeah.
But just that dynamic and even just like you can totally see Kendall, Shiv, and Roman in the three kids. I think
Yeah.
100%. Um
Oh, yeah.
like I mean, yeah, and just obviously like the style of how it's shot and like I mean, it does yeah, like I could imagine some sequences like with a Nicholas Britell score.
Well,
Like,
yeah, like, I mean, the female character, like, having, a male, partner that the family definitely wouldn't approve of. It's
yes. Yeah.
like, I'm not saying she never loved Tom, but, like, Tom was also exactly the wrong match for that family, and I
Yeah.
do think that that was part of Tom's appeal. Like, yes, he was nice and he was kind, and I think that those things were appealing to her, but also
Mhm.
the fact that he was those things and the family just all, like, you know,
Hate
crapped all
it.
over him and made fun of him and stuff. I think that that was part of his appeal to her,
Mhm.
and, like, granted, it was a racial dynamic in, the celebration, but, like, having a person that like your family just totally just dumps on. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
totally see the parallel there. Like
Yeah.
Michael, the younger brother, like
Uh,
inappropriate sexual
so
relationships and
Roman.
mistreating female partners. It's like Roman Roy,
Yeah.
ding ding ding.
Like,
Like,
it also it reminded me of for some reason, this line from Succession's always stuck to me, but the line where Roman talks about, like, how they put him in a dog cage and, like, made him eat dog food,
yep.
and, they're like, "No, I don't like you like that. You wanna do it," and he's like, "No." I think and it's just like and it does like, the celebration for how dark it gets at points,
Yeah.
it still is like, there are still some very funny line deliveries,
Oh my god,
um,
yes.
particularly in the first half of the movie, but also just, like, in a very dark humor type of way, like, when, the older brother I'm gonna blank, I'm terrible at character names, but when the older brother, like,
Wasn't
when
it Christian? Wasn't that his name?
yeah, I think so, I think so. I believe that you're right. It was Christian and Michael. I think
Yeah.
so, yes. Anyways, um, but, so it was when Michael first encountered, Helen's, boyfriend
Yeah.
in that whole sequence in the parking lot. Obviously, very dark, but also quite funny.
Oh yeah.
Like, when he's like, "Oh, we don't need the music." Like, like, his deliveries are incredible.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just, I don't know, like, when talking about this film, like, it kinda gives me a similar feeling to 12 Angry Men, at points where
Oh,
there are points in the film where it feels like each edit and each cut is just like an explosion and just like this bomb of like a revelation or a new piece of information. It's just like, oh my god, like where you just like need a second to recover and then you're like launched into a new turn.
I actually like that. I mean, I don't know if I was supposed to feel this way, but I honestly, you never know what the movie is trying to accomplish. When the father was like trying to gaslight him into like saying like, "Oh yeah, no, there was no abuse." Like,
Yeah.
and then mom was like, "Oh, what an overactive imagination. Oh,
Yes,
he was
we
such
always
a
thought that
cute
you would be
little
a
boy.
writer and your imaginary friend, yeah.
Oh, yeah." Like, I wasn't sure as it was going. I was like, "Oh my god, is he just having a nervous breakdown and he is ruining his, like, dad's party?" And, like, he's actually like, we're watching him disintegrate, and we're supposed to believe him because we've been shown that he's our protagonist, so we're inherently supposed to trust him, but he's actually an unreliable narrator, and we don't know this yet. But then every time that it would go back to him and he'd
Mhm.
say something else, then we're believing him, but then it goes back to some other character saying like, "Bro,
It's so well
what?"
edited.
Like, I
Yeah.
really, really loved how, like it was almost like Anatomy of a Fall where in any
Yes.
given moment, I was like, "Oh, that bitch killed him," or
Mhm.
like, "Oh, man, that prosecutor is such a dick." Like,
Yeah.
what where, like, they had me convinced and, like, at any given time, I'm like, I don't know who's telling me the truth here." And
Yeah.
but I loved it, like, it was just so it was there were so many things happening, and of course, just all of the things in the background and the fact that also it was just like everyone is still just eating dinner.
Yes.
Everyone is just eating dinner.
And, another just very funny line delivery, it's when, like, after the I guess it's minor spoilers, but there's a point towards the end of the film where the dad leaves the table, right?
Mhm.
And then this one guy's like, well, this is very awkward, but as the toastmaster of this dinner, I think it is appropriate that we continue eating, and there is coffee in the next room." And
Yep.
and, like, you don't even see it on screen because we're focused on, like, this very dramatic encounter between, like, father and son, and then you just hear this guy in the corner just trying to, like, regain control of the situation. It's incredible. Um,
I
I
had
mean,
such a good time with it.
it's a wild ride of a movie, and it's so rewatchable as well. Like, it's an endlessly rewatchable movie.
I
Like
feel like watching it a second time, I will glean so many more little details and
mhm.
things.
There's a lot of, like, little touches in, like, the performances as well, particularly early on.
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite sequences in the entire film is when they're playing the warmer game, and then it's cutting back and forth between the events that's going on in the other 2 rooms, and then it almost feels like they're interacting with each other through the edit, even though they're not. Like, it does a really good job of, like, creating conversation
Oh.
between 'cause there's a lot of people in this house, and they all kind of have separate narratives, even though they're all aligning towards the end. But it does a really good job of creating conversation between the narratives without ever, like, crossing the wires, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, which I think is really, really cool. So one thing that I wanted to do this film is part of the Dogme 95 movement.
Yes. Which I was not familiar with, by the way.
Okay. So, would you like me to read you the 10 rules of the Dogme 95 movement?
Please. Well, if not for me, which please for me, but also for everyone else.
Yes. So, it is referred to as the vow of chastity, which I think is very funny.
Okay, I didn't know that either. That's hilarious.
So, it's created by Lars von Trier and Thomas Vinterberg.
I did
Thomas
know that,
Vinter
by the way.
Yes, Thomas Vinterberg directed this movie, also made, the excellent film The Hunt, which you should all watch. Amazing
Yes.
movie, the one with Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes.
There's 2, relatively popular movies called The Hunt, and also made another round, which is great, and he won an Oscar for it. Lars von Trier, has said very questionable things and also recently posted it on Instagram asking for emails to apply to be his girlfriend, and I really wanted to catfish him, but,
What?
uh,
No. For real?
I didn't, but I really wanted to.
No, but,
How
like,
funny would it have
is
been.
that post for real?
Yeah, no, it was absolutely free. I think that he's very mentally ill and needs help. Um,
I kind
I
of want to
how
answer that because as an experiment,
how funny would it have been if I catfished Lars von Trier?
do it. Why don't can we do it for the basement? Can we just document it? Let's make TikToks about it.
Before it's banned. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, I think that Lars von Trier though is a very good filmmaker, even if I think kind of he overthinks a lot. I think that Terrence Malick has some of this same issues where like I think
Aha.
brilliant filmmaker, and a filmmaker who I actually take a lot of inspiration from, but I think has a problem with overthinking and getting too much in their own head at points. But
Mhm.
I think brilliant artists. Like I mean, I love Melancholia. I know a lot of people have mixed
Ah,
feelings on it. I adore that movie.
I really want to rewatch it. It's been a while.
But, okay. So basically the Dog Meat Collective, they're very formal about it. It's very funny. It was to purify filmmaking by refusing like expensive and spectacular special effects. I am just reading off of Wikipedia.
That's fair.
But yeah, so basically here are the rules. So number 1, shooting must be done on location. Props and sets must not be brought in. If a particular prop is necessary for the story, a location must be chosen where this prop is to be found. So everything must be done on set. The sound must never be produced apart from the images, or vice versa. Music must not be used unless it occurs in the scene while the scene is being shot. So all the sound has to be entirely natural. The camera must be handheld. Any movement or immobility attainable in the hand is permitted. So entire movie shot on handheld. 4, the film must be in color. Special lighting is not acceptable. If there is too little light for exposure, the scene must be cut or a single lamp be attached to the camera. 5, optical work and filters are forbidden. 6, the film must not
Forbidden.
forbidden. Yeah, the film must not contain superficial action. Murders, weapons, etc. must not occur. 7, temporal and geographical alienation are forbidden. That is to say that the film takes place here and now. 8, genre movies are not acceptable. 9, the film format must be Academy 35 millimeter. 10, the director must not be credited. And then they have to sign this thing. Furthermore, I swear as a director to refrain from personal taste. I am no longer an artist. I swear to refrain from creating a work, as I regard the instant as more important than the whole. My supreme goal is to force the truth out of my characters and setting. I swear to do so by all the means available and at the cost of any good taste in any aesthetic consideration. Thus, I make my, in all capitals, vow of chastity.
Okay.
And there were 35 films made between 98 and 2005 that are considered to be part of the movement, and then it died.
Oh no.
So these people are pretentious and annoying as hell. But I do
But
think
this
that
movie slaps.
I do think it created some excellent films. Like this film, amazing, and I think it works so perfectly within like the constraints of the dogma movement that like yeah,
Especially because, like, I think the raw nature of it is good for what you're accomplishing inside of, like, this family dynamic. Because
yeah,
I mean, hey, we're gonna confront, childhood sexual abuse and,
yep,
mental illness, and suicide, and we're gonna do that at a family gathering that also includes, like, family friends, like, not just
hmm
immediate family. We're gonna air this very publicly. Like, okay, well, that is very raw. This is exactly the medium in which to display this.
I mean it's the definition of raw. Like, when you talk about raw filmmaking, like, it's yeah. I mean, and there's just and I think it allows, like, some of the just, like, some of the most, like, devastating lines, like, I mean, like, we talk about some of the funny line deliveries, but, I mean, things like, I don't know, like, "That's all you were good for?" Like, my
Oof.
god, what like,
Oh,
trauma. Um,
ouch.
it's like I mean, yeah, there's some things that just like you wince and like it takes you on a full emotional journey.
really
And it's
does.
weird because like it feels like we're a fly on the wall, and like we're seeing something that we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Um, and and this is something that I wrote on Letterboxd. Like it takes this like very objective lens at a family, and because it's weird because it feels so objective, and also it feels like it's distorting so much at the same time. Which is really interesting. It's like by stripping back, you know, the decoration and the adornment of like Hollywoodizing this story, it feels even more distorted, just by the act of the characters. And it feels too uncomfortable at times, I think, for us to admit how deeply human the film is, because it is like at the end just this very deeply human story about how humans, like, we're kind of messed up, and we're all very nuanced individuals, that there isn't really something that we can feel good about saying, good and bad about these people, because they all are clearly very, very messed up, and it doesn't ever let you feel comfortable with saying, "Oh, this is the person I'm going to root for, is good or bad." Like, obviously, there were very bad things that happened to all these people, but it's not like any of these people are great people. So,
Exactly. I mean, hello, Succession.
right, exactly, exactly, and I think that, like, I mean, Succession just, I think takes a lot of just like the dynamics and framework of this, and just turns it into a show where that can be fleshed out even further. But Um, on a side note, I did wear my Conroy 2024 enough already shirt while voting. But
Nice.
Connor for president. But yeah, no, it's I don't know, I think it's like an excellent, excellent movie. One of my all-time faves. Like it
I
just,
had a great time with it.
yeah. It is weird to call this a great time. I feel like it could be described as like a fun, terrible time.
I had a great time experiencing positive and negative emotions.
That's okay. I can relate to that. I did as well. I did. I remember the first time I watched this on a laptop, and after Christian gave like his first speech, and when he goes to and my father, he abused us sexually. I distinctly remember slamming my hand down on the spacebar to pause it and walking away and taking a lap before coming back. It was just like, whoa, okay, that's where we're going. It's a lot. It's a lot, a lot, a lot. But yeah, great movie. I'm glad you liked it.
And I'm gonna give you $6 so that way you can rent Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey,
Oh my
because
god.
that's what I'm gonna make you watch.
I mean, can't I like? I don't know. I could just pirate it at this point.
I do not endorse this course of action. We will speak offline if that's what you choose to do. I do not endorse it.
Oh my god.
I'll watch it again too.
You better. I
We should watch it together. Oh my god.
I sure. I do that. We also need
Ooh,
to
I'll get
figure out.
my classic Winnie the Pooh out of the attic for the next episode too.
Oh my god. We need to
It's
get a
hinted.
guest episode soon.
Well, oh my god. Oh my god. Let's ask Jeffrey Kahn.
Okay.
Here, hold on. Just ask him right now.
No, we should. Yeah, we can get Con. We can get. We'll find some guests. I mean, Dan will obviously be on at some point.
Oh yeah.
Probably one of the easier ones to
Wanna
get.
watch Winnie the Pooh. He's so busy right now. Blood and Honey for the next episode of The Basement. Question mark.
That's cruel.
We can all, if you want, we could just make it only about that movie. We can
We
all watch
could.
it. We could all just watch it together too. We can all watch it together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can throw out something.
Okay, yeah, what you got?
I
What you
was
got?
gonna do like a serious movie, but I feel like that won't.
No, do it. Remember, we said they could be incongruous.
I guess that's true. All right, we're gonna watch Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Stalker by Andrei Tarkovsky.
Love it.
A double feature that's never been done.
I got the exclamation points. I believe that's a yes.
Let's go. Has he seen Stalker?
I'll ask him later. I don't want to necessarily make him watch 2 movies, but
Yeah,
we'll
Stalker's
see.
also a long movie. I mean, it's like it's bordering on 3 hours. But
I mean, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is not a long movie, but it does feel its length a
it
bit.
feels like, but yeah, Stalker. It's 162 minutes, so it's like 2 hours 40. I don't know. I think that you'll like it. This is my introduction to, typically people recommend Mira as an introduction to Tarkovsky, which I think makes sense, but Stalker is my introduction to Tarkovsky and I turned out fine. So, I don't know. I think you'll like a lot of the sci-fi elements to it.
Ooh, I probably will.
It's like basically a sci-fi metaphorical tale of the fall of the Soviet Union and nuclear power plants.
Oh, okay. That's like right in my wheelhouse.
And it also kind of killed Tarkovsky
What?
because of him filming the nuclear power plants and insisting on staying in the nuclear waste to film and being in it for longer than he needed to. Because they kind of filmed the movie and then the cinematographer messed up, so then they didn't have any footage. So then he had to go and film the entire movie again after firing that cinematographer. It's a whole thing. I'll get into the whole behind the scenes of this movie, but I'm a massive Tarkovsky head. I love Tarkovsky. I think he's brilliant, and yeah. So technically, in not confirmed, but allegedly, this is the movie that quite literally killed him. And it's I think his best movie. So,
Okay.
and it also gives me an excuse to watch it because it's inspiring a short film that I am making right now. So lots of things. Anyways, this was a long episode.
We did though.
Because yeah, we definitely talked more about not the movies than the movies, but that's how it works.
Only very barely.
Right. It was close. But this was the basement.
It was.
We'll be back next week at a normal schedule and time. You're probably
We
watching
shall.
this on Sunday. So or after, but it's coming out Sunday. We'll be back to Saturday, regularly scheduled programming. With Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey by whoever did that, and Stalker by Andrei Tarkovsky, because that
With special guest Jeffrey Kahn.
with special guest Jeffrey Kahn.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
It
Anyways,
does.
thank you everybody for watching The Basement. We will see you later. Goodbye.
Bye.